All right. Thank you for joining the Zcash Arborist call today, August 7th. And on the agenda, we have core stack updates from the Zcash Foundation, the Electric Coin Company, Zingo Labs, and we'll touch on Zcash deprecation. And then we have the research and implementation updates. We do not have Kedit here in the afternoon session. Shielded Labs on network sustainability mechanism, and then Crosslink, and then we'll have an open announcements and discussion portion of the call. What are Arborist calls? Arborist calls are bi-weekly calls where Zcash protocol contributors convene to discuss upgrade timelines and process, protocol R&D efforts, design and implementation of new protocol features, and identify blockers and unresolved issues. The purpose of these calls is to make core Zcash development accessible for a wider set of participants and provide more transparency for the community at large. Anyone interested in participating, interested in learning about the Zcash protocol development can register at zcasharborist.org. And if you would like to suggest a topic for discussion or present an in-depth agenda item relevant to the Zcash protocol, please email arboristcall@zfnd.org to request a slot. Other ways you can get involved in the Zcash community, you can check out Zcash community grants at zcashcommunitygrants.org. We have the Zcash R&D Discord and the Zcash community forum, and you can find all these links by going to zcasharborist.org. And we'll kick off the call starting with the Zcash Foundation on the topic of Zebra.
Yeah, that's me. Thank you, Dan. So about 2 weeks ago, we were doing a Zebra release 2.4.0. So after we did that, we found a bug in the database. So we created 2.4.1, and that didn't went well as well. So we shanked that and eventually ended up with 2.4.2, which is currently our last release. But 2.5.0 is going to be released today as well. So apart from that, one of the things we did is to fix our CI, which was having a lot of issues, and now is working perfectly fine, thanks to Gustavo and his hard work there. Related to that, we're going to make a pretty big refactor of the CI because it's unmaintainable, it's too big, it's do too many things. So we are starting on that with some ideas and stuff. So if anyone has ideas about our CI, complaints, feedback, whatever, please let us know, because we are planning now and it will be a good opportunity to include stuff or remove stuff or whatever. Apart from that, we made some progress in the reg test mode for Zebra. Dorian from Zingo Labs fixed a bug in the validate address bug we had. We have PR open to allow configured funding extremes. We have a PR as well for some progress done in the Python framework. We had to put that on hold for this week because we are doing another release, but we are planning to resume the work on that pretty much next week. And the biggest thing we did is that we implemented and deployed the release that includes everything we need for the NU 6.1 and the activation heights on the testnet. We participated with ECC in the private custom testnet session. And now we have one PR, which is the release PR, to be merged in, and so we can finally tag the release. Apart from that, we have Mario working on ZIP 213. What I mentioned, that we plan to resume the work in the Salad Zebra integration with the Python test next week. That's pretty much it.
Sorry, I was muted. Thank you, Alfredo. Any questions for Alfredo or the Zcash Foundation on Zebra? All right, let's jump over. Next up, ECC core stack updates, Zcash D, core libraries, and ZLA.
Okay, so um, last week we released Zcash D 630, which has the functionality for the NU 6.1 testnet update. And as Alfredo mentioned, we coordinated with ZF and Shielded Labs on testnet activation and you know generation of the P2SH multisig for testnet between the three keyholder orgs. Beyond that, or in support of that, we did Libra Zcash crate releases from Zcash protocol up through Zcash keys now. So that prefix of the crate graph has all been released, but we're holding off on Zcash client backend and Zcash client SQLite releases because we have a bit more that needs to go in there for the Zalay Alpha release, which we are also actively working on. Other major efforts over the past few weeks have been getting PCZT support in for P2SH multisig signing. Thanks to Strad for doing a bunch of that work. As part of that, we're also looking at integrating that functionality into the Keystone firmware. Yeah, beyond that, we have merged the main NSM network security mechanism PR from Shield Labs into Libra Zcash. So all of the NSM functionality that they've implemented is now there. It is feature flagged and config flagged for the Rust builds. But you can see examples of how to do those NU7 zip 233 enabling builds in the CI config. So yeah, then next up stuff. We're really focused next on the Zalay release. The other pieces that are high priority in the near term are continuing on this Keystone wallet implementation for P2SH multisig. We're going to be adopting a couple of the Bitcoin standards for how the P2SH multisig setup key derivation is done, and for how the multisig setup process is done with hardware wallets. And then the other thing that are other things that are on my plate are trying to get a couple of community PRs, one from ZF for adding Coinbase construction or to the Zcash primitive transaction builder, and also Paku has a Libra Zcash PR for Zcash client backend that allows sending the full contents of the wallet, and we're going to get that in for use in Zashi, specifically for use with the swap interface that's in progress, using the near intense swaps. So that's all I can think of for the moment.
The other thing that is being worked on at the moment is the finally the drip zip draft for PCZ TV1. So obviously
Yeah,
PCZ TV1 was specified, quote unquote, end of last year in the PCZT Rust crate. But there's ecosystem work that we want to be able to do to define a V2 that includes support for V6 transaction format for a new 7, and also integrating things like Frost support into it. And there's people who want to in the wider ecosystem who are potentially going to be wanting to use it. And all of this means having a textual V1 that sort of collects everything together in one place is more and more important. So that's now being worked on.
The other zip that ECC is currently working on is Dara Emma is working on turning her notes and HackMD's on quantum resilience changes for key derivation into a zip, with the proposal that V6 transactions will all shielded outputs, or at least all Orchard shielded outputs in these transactions will be associated with keys that have the quantum resilience changes, so that in a future where a quantum computer comes online in the next few years, that Orchard notes are recoverable in a post-quantum setting, because without that change, essentially, if quantum computers come online, this is not something, of course, that just affects Zcash. It also affects Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they basically mean that you can forge signatures, which means that you can't trust any notes that don't have spending keys that have some post-quantum resilient component to their creation. Okay, that's it for ECC.
Okay. Thank you, Chris and Strad. Any questions for the team? All right. Just double check the chat. All right. Next up, we have.
I do have one more thing.
Yeah.
And we
Go ahead, Chris.
might bring him up. So ECC also has a new core team member. So Shell Chivoli, he's in the attendees right now, but yeah, if you can bring Shell up so that he can say hi.
Yeah.
So we have increased our capacity by a third, or by yeah.
Hey,
Congrats.
sorry, this is my first Zoom webinar too, so I wasn't sure how that was going to work. Yeah, thank you guys. Glad to be here.
Yeah, welcome.
Okay, sorry.
No worries. Yeah. Thank you.
Onward.
Welcome, Shell. And okay, let's see. Next up, I think we might have to bring up. I see Za. We might need to bring up Za, at least for this section from Zynga Labs. Unless Paku's touching on something. Here we go.
Oh, dragged on stage, kicking and screaming. I'm not prepared for an official update, but I'll give an informal update. Technically, I'm on vacation, but really, I'm working every day. So the Zyno team is closing in on finishing off the respecification work that, among other things, builds in primitives and exposes them that are compatible with Crosslink. So finalization and non-finalization are first-class states in the new version of Zyno. And Chris could probably speak more to this than I can. The Zyno team's been working with Chris to fully support ZLA, and Zyno D, the Lightwall G replacement is also, its release is, we expect soon. Again, this is not a formal update, it's an informal update. So, but expect that to be out probably before the next Arborist call. With respect to Zyno, I think that's all that's top of brain. In this call, Chris is probably more familiar, maybe more familiar with the actual day-to-day flow on Zyno because of the Zyno ZLA and integration work that's going on. But yeah, lots going on. Talking to Shielded Labs a little bit, mostly showing up to their demos. Talking to the Zebra folks, talking to the ECC folks. Lots and lots of collaboration going on and lots of momentum.
Great. Thank you,
One more
Za.
thing.
To have
Yeah.
Block Explorer support also is also expected, but it's going to be after the Zyno D release. So sometime in the next month or so, we should have Block Explorer support as well.
Great. Thanks, Za. Chris, anything to add, or anybody else on this topic or questions?
No, I mean the main focus of the work that that I've been engaged with the Zano folks is the so Zano is exposing for us a new chain index API that that we can use to access index data without having to that it can abstract over both the finalized state of the chain and the non-finalized state as Zebra defines those, with the finalized state being 100 blocks back and further, and the non-finalized state being the most recent 100 blocks. So that's going to be helpful. That'll simplify some code in Zale, and we're looking forward to having it.
All right.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Next, like middle of next week is kind of when we might be able to start consuming that.
I think we should have it ready for you by then.
Okay, any other thoughts, comments, questions on this topic? Okay, cool. Thank you, guys. We'll jump to next up, Zcash deprecation updates.
Okay, I can summarize a bit the meeting that we had earlier today. So basically, we're figuring out a high-level hand-wavy roadmap for coordination purposes, and we are starting to prepare on everything Z3 Alpha. Although Zale will be the most front-facing piece of the Z3 stack, there's a lot of coordination and collaboration between CF on Dockerization of the stack, and also some things that we have to define to be able to subsequently ship the Zale Alpha through different platforms. Initially, it will be just like sort of built from source, and then we will surely incorporate more ways of distribution. And we're also going to start with a brief list of selected partners for the initial alpha, and then probably broaden up the scope as the ECC, CF, and Zingo engineers see fit. We really like feedback from everyone, but we also want not to have a like tsunami of feedback, right? We want to be able to have like in-depth feedback from the ecosystem and be able to respond accordingly to the efforts that the different teams invest on Z3. So if we just massively launch, it won't be that way, and that's why we are kind of like slowly tuning in to the alpha and the beta stuff. So that's pretty much what we talked about today. There's a lot of things going on, and well, I guess there's more after this, so stay tuned.
Thanks, Paku. Any questions for Paku, or anything else somebody would like to add on this topic? All right, let's see. No Kedit, I should have taken that out. Next up, Shielded Labs NSM.
Yeah, so we have a super quick update for the NSM today. As Chris mentioned, the Librust Zcash PR has been merged. Dara Emma had some additional comments on the Zcash test vectors PR that we intend to address. Mariusz is out this week on vacation, but he'll be back on Monday, and we'll address those comments then. Once that's complete, the zip 233 integration will be all set, and we'll go forward and submit the PRs for zip 234 and zip 235. And that's it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Any questions? Okay, next up, Crosslink.
Yeah, so we have a demo today that we wanted to share that Sam and Andrew put together.
Okay.
Is it easier if I just send you the link in the chat, or do you want me to share my screen?
Let's have you. I'm a little concerned about my internet connection. I can stop sharing and you should be able to share it, and then I'll jump back in when it's over.
Okay, cool.
Let's try that. All right. Let me stop sharing. Stop share. Okay, there we go. You should be able to take that over, Jason.
Okay. No, it's actually not letting me do it. One sec.
I can try it on mine if you want to drop the
Okay.
link. Can you drop
Yeah,
it in
sorry about that.
It's okay. Yeah, drop it in the Zoom chat and I could pull it up. And we'll see if that works.
There you go. Thank you, Dan.
Cool. Sure. Let me see. All right, hold on. Let me just, apologies for the delay here. Get this pulled up. Go full screen and reshare. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's see if this works. Okay, can you guys see that or no?
No.
It's not coming up. Yeah. It says you started screen sharing, double click to enter full screen mode. Oh, there it is.
Okay, that's happening now.
Okay, let's see. Let's just double check on volume and then we'll give it a go. Could you guys hear that?
No. No sound.
No.
Interesting. Well, is it a routing issue? Let's see. I know Mark has done this in the past. I can hear it in my headphones, but it's obviously not coming through to the group, which is not ideal.
Yeah.
Give me one more
Maybe
second.
if you change the device that you're sharing sound with to the monitor of the headphones, maybe that'll work.
Okay, let's see here. Let's try that.
That's not working either.
Yeah, Mark
Okay,
said he
one more.
usually just route it through his laptop microphone
Okay.
or turn on closed caption and we can just have a silent movie demo.
Let's just bear with me here. We're gonna make this work. Try that. Same as system. Oh, MacBook Air speakers. Let's try that.
Okay.
No, we cannot hear that.
No.
No.
Was that a no-go?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nate, do you want to sort of give a summary of it? And
Yes. So it basically has a punchline, which is really exciting, which is it starts by showing some automated tests run and describes a bit about them. So the main detail there is that they have a mode which will notice like assertion failures without halting the process, so that we can see like all of the issues that we can get through by running that test. And the test demonstrates like a case involving the two chains. And then they pop open the visualizer, and the visualizer can sort of replay what is in the test. And then the punchline is that there's cute, colorful links going between the two different chains. And so,
would it be useful to play the video without sound and then you can do the voiceover?
oh, and I could narrate.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody have it handy?
Yeah, let me go back. Hold on. Let's
I can do
see here.
voiceovers.
Give me a second. I should have left it. This is fun. I see Nate count. Yeah, note to self. I'm going to note that as well. Okay, so here and share. Can you guys see that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right, I'll press play.
Yep. I think we could probably skip the first couple of minutes. Perhaps it's going to show the terminal output and be a description of the test case. I think the big picture there is not necessarily the specific test case, but just that we've begun implementing test cases with 2 blockchains. I don't see the video playing, but
no, I just see the full screen of YouTube.
Are you able to play it, Tim?
Yeah, it's playing on my end. I'm not sure why. Let me try one more thing.
Oh, no. Okay.
There we
That's
go.
better.
Oh, yeah, it's updating now. Okay, so you can see some colored output, and there's 2 colors that are showing error messages. Okay, so then we pop open the visualizer, and then Sam has this humorous thing saying, like, wait, what are those links? They're different colors. Are those cross links? And so they have a discussion about that, how those are cross links. So the the punchline is that this implementation has links going both ways. But there's still a lot to do. For example, we don't have tests yet that try doing rollbacks past a finality point, which is kind of the key thing there. So that's sort of the status of the implementation. On the design front, or sorry, on the roadmap, let me do that first. We're trying to get this functionality ready by the end of the month, and we'll have a workshop on the 27th for anyone who wants to join. Yeah, I recommend watching the video if you want afterwards. Yeah, so by the end of this month, we want to finish this milestone, which is effectively cross-linked with proof of authority and many cut corners and rough edges. But hopefully it is basically demonstrating the fundamental concept without the proof of stake stuff. Meanwhile, we've been working on the design of both this milestone, including the proof of work changes, as well as the next milestone, which is to implement all of the proof of stake accounting rules. So I heard that those devs got a lot of feedback on a Zips call about how to modify the proof of work headers. And so that was super helpful to get a lot of context about potential issues with compatibilities with miners and so forth. And it helped me sort of clarify some of my thinking about what we're calling the prototype phase. So basically what we're doing whenever we run into a design issue like this. So this simple thing is just change the headers to make our tests work. But the problem is that is likely not compatible with mainnet. The more sophisticated thing is to figure out a slightly more complex change to make it compatible with mainnet, or make sure we're contacting folks in the ecosystem to make sure that there's like an upgrade process that works successfully. And so what we're doing in this prototype phase is every time we run into one of those, we document it. And so we call that an architectural decision. We have a thing tracking them, and we aren't spending very much time on them. Instead, we're just we're noting there's an issue. We're picking the thing that seems quickest to get working, and then we're continuing. So what this means is our goal for the end of this year to have like a fully functional prototype. There's no guarantee it will like actually be something that can feasibly run on mainnet. So it'll need a lot of work. But our goal is in its own test net, it should have all of the functionality we're aiming for, right? So there's finalizers, people can delegate stake to them, they get on an active roster, and then they run effectively what is this milestone. Let's see what else. Oh, and we're going to be writing some blog posts coming up, and I'm going to write one sort of about this approach of prototyping and which design pieces we've run into so far. Okay, in the future proof of stake design, that's the real chunky thing because it requires, oh wait, Dara, did you want to?
Oh, you continue first and then I'll ask my question again.
Okay, yeah, so this milestone 2 has proof of authority, aka a config file, instead of actual staking, to name which nodes are the finalizers. In the goal for the next milestone, milestone 4, is to have a proof of stake system. So that includes ways for finalizers to register on the protocol, to join a candidate roster, and then ways for users to delegate ZEC to those candidates, and then selection of candidates to become an active roster. And then the active roster is what runs the BFT protocol. And then that's going to have all the rewards and fees and penalties, and it's connected to issuance, right? So the piece that all of the pieces are connected to everything else. So one chunk that we started working on is just figuring out the reward system. So how is the issuance distributed to all of the stakers and all of the delegators and finalizers? And keeping along with the prototyping approach, we are like evaluating or drawn to making this sort of radical simplification that I think is unusual across proof of stake, as far as I'm aware, where we would basically try to avoid special rules that attempt to reward or penalize various conditions that the protocol can notice, because every edge case has its trade-offs and is more complexity. So we're imagining making a much simplified system where once you're on the roster, the issuance gets paid basically at the same rate to everyone, even to finalizers and all their delegators when those finalizers aren't actually online, like they're not available. There's no, so we're considering just doing the simple design. There's no rule to prevent that. And what this means is everything would continue to work until enough finalizers are not responding for the BFT system to halt. So that's what we're aiming for the prototype. And then we're going to evaluate carefully, can that work, or do we need more rules such as payment for performance or slashing for double signs, or all these things that have these complicated trade-offs. Okay, that's sort of where we are. Sarah.
Sounds good. So where are these kind of limitations or things where you're taking shortcuts to the prototype? Where are they documented?
Yes, they are documented. Yes, they're in a Google spreadsheet, and I'll go make sure it is world readable.
Excellent.
Moment. And they're all definitely incomplete and terse. Yeah, so I think that's it for our update. Any questions about Crosslink besides that list of ADRs here there? Too many tabs. Anyway, you could continue with the agenda, and I'll find that link and share it in the chat.
How
All
do
right,
people
cool.
in Shielded Labs call yourselves? Are you shielders, labbers?
I don't know. Shoulders could work, maybe. I don't know. Shieldies.
So can you give some examples of the kind of thing that would be in that spreadsheet?
Yes. So let's see. The first one is about how to have signatures on chain to ensure that it's unambiguous and objectively verifiable if you're starting from a proof of work block to figure out which ancestor is final.
Yeah.
Let's see, there was a second one. Sorry, I lost the tab. Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good example.
There's a second one that's about what data should we store in the blocks, which is data that can be computed by fully verifying nodes as they go. And so this is a common kind of trade-off that happens elsewhere in the consensus protocol. And the prototype thing is don't add any of that data unless for whatever reason it is easier or necessary, but generally just don't worry about it right now. And then we'll go back and figure out who needs data to be there and exactly why, if it's something that's already implied by the consensus rules. And then there's going to be one, but there isn't one about how to change the proof of work header and or block formats so that, so that it's feasible for mainnet. And then there's going to be at least one about this reward system, or there might be multiple because it's very complex.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Nate. And thank you for everybody putting up with our issues there. I was going to recommend this. Elisa already on top of it to share the link in the Arborist YouTube, and then maybe Chidi, if you can be sure to grab the link and put it in your notes, that would also be helpful for folks. Okay, so let's see. Open announcements. Do we have any of those? Okay. And lastly, open discussion. Would anybody like to bring something up? Going once and twice and 3 times. All right. Thank you all for being here today. And the next Arborist call is the morning session at 1500 UTC, August 21st, 2 weeks from today.
Ooh. And if you hang out in the chat for like 60 seconds, I'll post 2 links.
Great. Thank you, Nate.
All right.
Yep.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, great work.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
See you guys.